today I will share with you some insights about IoT and mobile, in particular how to make them work together and get the best out of them to debug and develop application. So my talk is called Unveiling the Vital Link Between IoT and Mobile, the Power of Telemetry. And just before starting, I invite you to use the chat and drop a message about if you are using telemetry, which one and how telemetry solve your issue. So I'm curious to see telemetry in action also for you. But just before starting, let me take just a second to introduce myself. Ciao, hi, I'm Matteo. I'm a senior mobile engineer. I started back in days when the first beta of iOS was released to the public. So as you can imagine, a bit of time ago. And for many years, more than 15 so far, I work in developing mobile application for iOS, sometimes also for Android, and lately back more since 2018 in Flutter for mobile devices as companion map of IoT project. And with my team, I also work in developing some internal tools, for example, one related to telemetry, to help our daily job and make stuff working easier, not only for us as developer, but also for our friend of the QA department. Last but not least, let me say, I'm a happy and enthusiastic open source contributor. So probably you will find some of my library or awesome collection of links. One is for sure awesome Swift, another is related with awesome BLE. I'm also the mobile lead of a team in Intent. And Intent is a company with more than 10 years of experience in building, as you can imagine, application, companion app for connected device. So let's say my expertise perfectly fit our aim. Our customer, well, some of them are Aura, Bose, Audio, and we are working every day with new exception startup, and we're helping them to start their journey from the project to the real product on the market. So let's start speaking about telemetry now. Telemetry is a way to collect data, but in a very specific way, automated. And this is a keyword that I want to underline. Automation is very, very important. The collection of the data should not be human-driven. And later we will see why. Telemetry is a way to collect a constant stream of data that allow you to see what happened back in the days, in the second, in the minutes, and basically add the whole history of what happened. It's such important because, as you can imagine, allow you to have a full reply of what happened. And this one is very useful because it can happen that you are not at your desk in that moment. Let me share an example, a very high-level example, totally, let's say, from a different context, but to have an idea what telemetry is and how it works. I share with you one of my passions, that is building and flying custom drone. Building a custom drone is not such a trivial, let's say, operation. And this one already helps you to understand that a telemetry tool is useful in many different stages of a project. For a drone, it's useful when you start to define how to build that already. Then when you start to assemble and put the first screw, and then when you start to do the, let's say, first very fly, and then when you start to enjoy flying with them. Why is such important? As you can imagine, a drone has inside a board that keeps, let's say, the brain of the drone. A drone is composed by many components. First, at least 4: propeller, antenna, GPS, and battery. And everything has to work smoothly. Otherwise, instead of having a beautiful drone fly, we have, let's say, or in the worst scenario, we have basically something splash on the floor. According that we don't want to do that, and we want to have fun with our drone, we need to use some specific tool. And drone has many open source that you can flash. And this firmware grants you access to many information in real time. When you build that, you can use still, for example, let's say UART to install the firmware. But as you can imagine, meantime you fly, there's no way to do that. So you need data in real time in a different manner. And here telemetry comes to help. Telemetry is able to tell you if the speed of each of the engine. From this one, you can understand if the propeller are working in the proper way, if the battery is in the proper, let's say, temperature, and how millivolt you have still. Because if for the first fly, it's important to understand that everything works as expected. For the next fly, it's important to understand that you have battery enough, the battery is in the proper position, balanced, the engine are not overheating, and you can collect many of this information, your position through the GPS, and the audio and video feed from the camera, the propeller speed, the reconsumption. And if you put together this one, you have the full information of your flight. You can understand if you can come back, first of all, then it's not such a trivial stuff, because you can even go too far, too high, and the battery is not able to last that long. So there is not, let's say, returned home. And this one can be problematic. You need to know the GPS position, because if anything happened and the drone fall down, you have to go find it. Another not such a trivial stuff. So let me say, drone is a perfect example of starting from zero to reach the final product. How much a simple stuff like telemetry, so a full automated feed of data coming from a device in this case, helps you to, at different stage, achieve the goal. One information more is, as you can imagine, that we have different kind of connection. And in this part, we need to, let's say, in our particular scenario, so consider that we have a mobile phone, we are speaking about indirect way of connection. Let's play a reverse. A peripheral that has a standalone connection, internet connection, can be, I don't know, Wi-Fi rather than IoT, and a SIM on that is pretty standalone. But you can apply telemetry over there too, for sure. In a context like BLE, so we have two options, or you have physical gateway, or you need to ask your phone to act as a gateway. So the phone is able to gather all the information as a kind of, let's say, transparent proxy and bring them to a tool where you collect all the data. Okay, sounds good, I think. And I think already I catch some of your possible, let's say, doubt. So what's the difference between telemetry and logging? Good question. It's pretty simple. And we come back to the very, very beginning slide. Automation is the key. In this scenario, logging means that there's a developer that is entitled to develop some code and drop logs inside that to double check what's going on. This one, by definition, can be error prone. Can even be that I did the best job ever, but I forgot one condition. And when you're debugging in, say, special condition, and we'll see this later, and this one can be problematic. So telemetry helps a lot because, as I mentioned, can be considered as a transparent proxy that grab the data and keep them and store them, even locally in the beginning, the phone, if the phone has no connection, but later is able to sync to an external system. And with this external system, you can have chronologically all the what happened and double check how to make it work. Why I was saying that is important and can be risky use logging. Because if you are debugging in special conditions, so not next to your desk, if you figure that they forget to drop a log, it's tricky. If you forgot that I dropped the log and the application is being used to climb a mountain or to swim or go underwater or drive a fast car, I don't know if you will have time to issue a new version of the app to be used to debug and catch what's missing. A tool that grants me full access to the data makes my life easier and calmer at the same time. So I don't have to think about, oh, I put all the log in the proper place. Oh, I hope so. Let's hope that the guy doesn't have to climb 5 feet times this hill. So it doesn't work like this. So logging is very important. What's inside telemetry? The proper answer probably would be and should be everything. I tried to put down methods that usually are used. So for sure, the connection status is useful, or to know if you are connected or not. The RSSI, so how much is the signal strength of BLE, the battery level of the peripheral, or the battery levels, if the peripheral has multiple battery or multiple peripheral, because even this one is another condition. The full flow of the command send, receive, error codes, for example, the firmware version of the device. So pack all together. This one is very important. So give you an idea of what's going on and allow you to create a kind of, let's say, digital twin, reply the full experience. And this one is very useful later when you sit back to your office desk and you need to debug. So you can go check all the data, step by step, understand what's the status of the peripheral, understand what's the mobile phone send, and try to figure out where is the hiccup. I'll share with you an example. Telemetry, and let's call that telemetry in action. So I have a beautiful BLE tracker that works in a swimming pool and for sure is not an extreme place. But for sure, you need pay some attention if you don't want to make your laptop fly in the water and start to figure out how much it's, let's say, how much is waterproof. And also it's a high humidity environment. So there are some precautions that are needed. And let's say that this device, for example, is used by a trainer. So a person that is standing still and waiting the person that is swimming to come back and, let's say, start a new lap. So this is the scenario. I decided to split that in 3 parts. So first of all, behavioral debugging. Old school, totally old school approach. The trainer is checking the phone. The person is coming. No data. This one is the behavioral debug. We stop over there. Nothing more, nothing less. Log debugging. Let's say that we bring our laptop. We keep connect to the phones or the tablet. And what we can see, I put some logs here and there. Battery updated. Beautiful. Peripheral disconnects. Interesting. But I don't have a clear idea what's going on. So in this case, instead, me as a developer, I'm in the office and I'm looking at the flow of data coming. And I see that there is a GAN notification. Good. This one brings some information like the firmware version. Perfect. But also show me that the battery drops suddenly to 5%, very low level, and then disconnect. Putting different scenario from peripheral disconnect. And I don't have the data. Behavior, UI, debugging. In this way, I'm in the office. I can sit. I can try to replicate the situation and understand that the sync for sure is intermittent. This is the issue. But the other stuff is that with the telemetry, I was able to understand that the battery, after a specific command, start to fall down so much that make the disconnection in place. The result, as you can imagine, is the developer doesn't have to start swimming or learn swimming. It's not trivial stuff. But as you can imagine, I able to debug that in an hour or even less and staying, for example, in the office and much faster. So this kind of stuff allow me to have let's say really a digital clone of the device that is in the swim at that time, have the full flow of data, and I can instruct with the firmware team and the QA team the device to replicate the same data and figure out what's triggering that. And then I can understand, for example, that it's not a software in the mobile issue, but it's more a firmware implementation that generated the issue, maybe, and try to address the bug. How a tool like this works? A tool like this works in a way basically on any device, because usually it's built on top of the native implementation. So in the case of iOS, yes, it's Objective-C, and in Android, no, it's not in Java, but it's at very low level. So Flutter and React Native will not have issue with that. You just import them, and that's it. So you can start to collect the data. The data can be taken, stored locally, maybe the device I'm climbing a mountain. There is no internet at the moment. So I can store the whole flow of data in a local database. And then as soon as I have internet, start the syncing with a system that allow me later to browse that. And later I can browse this data remote. So in any place, if I'm in the office, if I'm in a special area dedicated for testing, and many people can check that. The QA department, me as a developer, my colleague, I can share snippet information to the firmware team, and they can look into that and debug. So debugging without telemetry, if you ask to me, no. It's an ally that allows me to have less to do. I don't have to remember to cover many stuff in terms of logs. So I don't have to make my code, let's say, full of logs and to catch all the possible, let's say, nuances, edge cases, and much more calm. QA team is much more happy because they have all the flow of data. It can even be if too much, let's say, but we can filter them, so better to collect the data, most of them, and then try to understand on top of that what's going on. We can repeat the scenario as many times we want, because now we have the data, we know the flow, we know the steps, and we don't know only the steps from a behavioral standpoint or a recorded screen. We know what's going on under the hood. So we can have some instruments, other, that help us to feed the digital twin and see how to make it work. It can be a digital twin hardware or software as a simulator. And this one help us to shrink a lot the development. So why using telemetry? Save money. So if I have a prototype and I want to jump on the market, if it can help the firmware team, the hardware team, giving insights in real time on what's going on, fine-tuning an implementation, catch the bug at the earliest stage and find a solution much easier, faster, without repeating many times. Let's say outdoor test. For sure, I'm already saving time. And strictly connected to save time, I can save money. So I can cut the cost of debugging and testing. Last but not least, I will have much happier customer. And the return rate risk to perform way better, so be less, let's say, huge than expected. So if I have a good, stable product, I don't have to worry about the product comeback. So this one is a very other important stuff related to the world IoT, in particular on BLE. If you don't believe me, you can check many of the comments of BLE related application that doesn't have a fully fledged, let's say, overview before the launch. And you can see in the comment of the application. So that's it. I hope I was able to share with you an idea of what telemetry is, in particular in the scenario of BLE. So how to use a device like a smartphone to collect data and help improve the way you are working every day. And makes, let's say, go to market in case you are the owner of the product much easier. If you want, I'm here. let's discuss together telemetry, and let's explore also your needs. So if you have any need for your IoT device, your IoT project, and you want to discuss how to improve, for example, the reliability of the BLE connection, you're facing an issue with connection stability, reconnection, etc. For sure, I think we can help you. We have the knowledge, we have the tool. So feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn. You can find me as Matteo Crippa, or you can drop me an email at grow@wellthinton.com. And yeah, thank you for your time, and hope we will see and meet each other and can help you with your beautiful IoT project. Ciao.